Your best life begins when you stop treating your own company like something you have to escape. Have you noticed how different life feels when you no longer need someone to call you, invite you, or sit beside you just to have a good day? That is where real change begins. This audiobook is about learning to enjoy your own company without feeling lonely. You will discover how to make plans by yourself, enjoy quiet days, stop chasing attention, feel good when nobody checks on you, and build a daily life you actually enjoy living. Because when you become comfortable on your own, you stop accepting people just because you are afraid of being alone. You choose better relationships. You protect your time. You understand yourself more clearly. Stay until the end, because learning to enjoy being alone may completely change what you expect from yourself, your relationships, and your life. Chapter 1. Stop waiting for someone to enjoy your life. One of the easiest ways to lose years of your life is to keep waiting for another person before you allow yourself to enjoy anything. You tell yourself you will travel when you find someone to go with. You will try that restaurant when a friend is free. You will start exercising when somebody joins you. You will attend that event when you have company. You will finally enjoy the weekend when someone makes plans with you. It sounds harmless because you are only waiting for the right moment. But every time you wait, you are teaching yourself that your own company is not enough. Pay attention to what happens on a normal day. You wake up on a Saturday morning with several free hours ahead of you. Instead of thinking about what you would enjoy doing, you immediately wonder who is available. You send a message. You wait. You check your phone again. Someone says they are busy. Another person does not answer. Now the excitement you had for the day starts disappearing. Nothing terrible happened. Nobody insulted you. Nobody took anything from you. Yet your mood changed because you gave another person's availability the power to decide whether your day would be enjoyable. That is a habit worth changing. You cannot build your best life around other people's schedules. People have work to finish. They have families to see. They have their own goals and responsibilities. Sometimes they simply want to stay home. Their decision does not have to become your disappointment. You can respect their time while still respecting your own. Begin by making small plans that belong completely to you. Decide what you want to do before asking who wants to join. Maybe you want to spend an hour in a bookstore. Maybe you want to eat your favorite food somewhere peaceful. Perhaps you want to exercise outside or visit a place you have never seen. Make the decision first. If someone wants to come and you enjoy their company, then welcome them. If nobody comes, your plan can still continue. At first, this may feel unusual. You may enter a cafe alone and become very aware of yourself. You might look around and notice groups of friends talking together. Your mind may start asking whether you look lonely. This is where you need to understand something about human behavior. We often imagine that strangers are paying much more attention to us than they actually are. Most people are busy thinking about themselves. The person sitting across the room probably has problems to solve, plans to make, and messages to answer. You do not need to perform for people who are not thinking about you. Sit down, order what you like, eat slowly, look around. Give yourself permission to enjoy an ordinary experience without turning it into a judgment about your social life. This simple practice teaches your mind that being by yourself is not an emergency. You can be alone and still feel relaxed. You can be alone and still have an interesting afternoon. You can be alone without feeling rejected. There is also a deeper reason to stop waiting for people. When you constantly need company, you can become too willing to accept the wrong company. You may keep someone close simply because you do not want an empty weekend. You may continue conversations that leave you tired because silence feels uncomfortable. You might say yes to people who do not respect your time, because at least they are giving you attention. The fear of being alone can make very poor treatment look better than it really is. When you become comfortable spending time by yourself, your standards begin to change. You no longer need every invitation. You do not have to answer every message immediately. You can notice how people treat you, instead of focusing only on whether they include you. You become able to ask a better question. Do I actually enjoy being around this person? That question matters. Your life becomes healthier when relationships are chosen because they add something meaningful, rather than because they protect you from loneliness. Good friends should be appreciated. Loving families should be valued. Strong relationships are important. Enjoying solitude does not mean becoming cold or distant. It means you can love people without making them responsible for your emotional stability. Your alone time can also become useful in ways that constant company cannot. When nobody else is around, you can hear your own thoughts more clearly. You notice what has been bothering you. You recognize what you have been avoiding. You remember goals you stopped working toward. You begin seeing where your days are actually going. Use some of that time to improve the parts of life that you normally ignore. Organize the space where you live. Prepare something healthy to eat. Read 10 pages of a useful book. Work on a skill for 30 minutes. Review how you have been spending your money. Think about the next month of your life. Write down 3 things you need to finish. None of these actions require another person's presence. Then make room for enjoyment too. Personal growth does not mean turning every free minute into work. Play music you enjoy. Watch something that genuinely makes you laugh. Take a comfortable walk. Cook something you have wanted to try. Spend time outside. Rest without feeling guilty. Learn what makes an ordinary day pleasant for you. This is how you begin building a life that feels good from the inside. You stop expecting people to arrive and improve everything. You develop interests, you create routines, you make decisions, you become curious about your own mind. You learn what gives you energy and what drains it. You discover that you are much more interesting to yourself when you actually spend time getting to know who you are. And when people do enter your life, something important changes. You are not asking them to rescue you from boredom. You are not silent lighting demanding that they make you feel valuable. You already have plans, interests, goals, and responsibilities. You can enjoy another person's presence without becoming dependent on it. Imagine the freedom of waking up tomorrow and knowing that your day does not need anybody's approval before it can be good. If someone calls, you can enjoy the conversation. If nobody calls, you still have a life to live. If a friend cancels you, adjust your plans instead of canceling your happiness. If nobody wants to join you somewhere, you decide whether you still want to go. That is personal responsibility in everyday life. You stop handing away hours that you will never receive again. You stop waiting for people to become available before becoming available for your own life. There will always be people worth sharing life with. Appreciate them deeply when you find them, but never make the mistake of believing that life only becomes enjoyable when somebody is standing next to you. Your time matters on crowded days and quiet days. Your experiences matter whether anyone sees them or not. Your growth continues whether somebody encourages you or stays silent. Start treating your own company with the same respect you give someone you care about. Give yourself a good morning. Give yourself useful work. Give yourself proper rest. Give yourself something interesting to learn. Give yourself places to go and reasons to look forward to tomorrow. When you can do that, you stop waiting for life to become enjoyable. You begin participating in it. And that may be the moment you discover that some of the life you were hoping someone else would bring you was already available, the moment you decided to get up and live it. Chapter 2. Learn to love. The time nobody needs you. There are moments when nobody is asking anything from you. No one needs an answer. No one is waiting for your help. No one is asking you to solve a problem. Your phone stays quiet. Your name is not being called. For many people, these moments feel uncomfortable because they have become used to feeling important through being needed. When people need them, they feel useful. When people stop needing them, they begin wondering whether they still matter. That is a dangerous way to measure your value, because your worth cannot depend on how often someone asks something from you. Think about how easily this happens in daily life. You spend the week answering messages, helping family members, doing favors, meeting expectations, and dealing with responsibilities. Then suddenly you have an evening with nothing required from you. Instead of enjoying it, you feel strange. You pick up your phone without knowing why. You check whether someone has written. You open social media. You look at what everyone else is doing. You may even start a conversation you do not really want, simply because having nobody need your attention feels unfamiliar. But there is another way to see that quiet time. Nobody needing you for a few hours does not mean you have been forgotten. It means you have something that many people keep saying they want. You have time that is actually yours. Learn to appreciate that. You spend so much of life responding to what other people want. A teacher wants something finished. A parent asks for help. A friend wants advice. Work demands attention. Messages arrive. Responsibility continue. These things are part of living, and many of them are important. But if every hour is controlled by somebody else's needs, you eventually lose contact with your own. That is why the time when nobody needs you can become valuable. You finally have a chance to ask yourself questions that are usually pushed aside. How am I actually doing? What have I been thinking about lately? What am I tired of? What needs to change? What am I proud of? What have I been avoiding? What do I want to do with the next few months? Those questions require privacy. They require enough quiet for you to answer without immediately adjusting your answer to please somebody else. Some people avoid these moments because being alone with their thoughts can reveal things they would rather ignore. You may realize that you are unhappy with a habit. You may notice that you have been spending too much time trying to impress people. You may admit that something you once wanted no longer matters to you. You might recognize that you have been saying yes when you wanted to say no. These discoveries can be uncomfortable, but they are useful. You cannot improve a life you refuse to examine. There is another lesson here that can change the way you see relationships. Being needed and being loved are not the same thing. Someone may need what you can do for them without truly appreciating who you are. Another person may deeply care about you even when they do not need anything from you today. If you confuse being useful with being loved, you can spend years exhausting yourself trying to earn affection through constant service. You become the person who always fixes things. You always answer. You always agree. You always make yourself available. Somewhere inside, you hope that if you do enough, people will never leave. That can become exhausting. You are allowed to have relationships where you do not constantly have to prove your usefulness. You are allowed to sit quietly without performing. You are allowed to have a day when you are not solving everybody's problems. You can care about people without carrying every responsibility they hand you. Pay attention to what happens when you stop trying to be needed all the time. You begin discovering how much energy you have been giving away automatically. You notice how often you interrupt your own priorities to handle something another person could easily handle themselves. You see how quickly you respond to requests because saying no makes you feel guilty. That awareness gives you choices. The next time you have a free hour, do not immediately search for somebody who needs you. Keep that hour. Use it deliberately. Sit somewhere comfortable and think. Read something that improves your understanding. Finish a task you have delayed. Take care of your room. Write down your goals. Rest if your body is tired. Do something creative. Practice a skill. Spend time without filling every second with noise. At first, your mind may resist. You may feel that you should be doing something for somebody. Ask yourself whether there is truly an urgent responsibility, or whether you have simply become uncomfortable with having your own time. There is a major difference. Learning to enjoy your unused time also teaches you patience with yourself. When you are constantly responding to others, you rarely notice your own pace. You rush because everyone seems to want something immediately. But when the demands stop, you can slow down enough to notice how you feel. You can eat without rushing. You can finish one thought before starting another. You can make a decision without 10 opinions entering your head. This does not make you selfish. A healthy person needs time that is not controlled by outside demands. You cannot spend every day available to everyone and expect to remain focused, calm, and clear. Even your ability to care for others improves when you have enough space to care for yourself. And something surprising happens when you become comfortable not being needed. You stop trying so hard to prove that you matter. You no longer become upset because someone solved a problem without you. You do not feel threatened when friends have plans that do not include you. You stop measuring your importance by how many notifications appear on your screen. You become less desperate to stay involved in everything. Your confidence becomes quieter and more stable because you know who you are, even when nobody is asking for anything. This is important because there will be seasons when life becomes quieter. People become busy, relationships change, children grow, friends move, jobs change, groups separate. Daily routines that once made you feel important may disappear. If your entire identity was built around being needed, those changes can leave you wondering who you are. Build an identity that exists beyond other people's demands. Know what you believe. Know what interests you. Know what kind of person you want to become. Have goals that continue even when nobody is watching. Develop skills because they matter to your future. Take care of yourself because your life deserves attention. Create routines that do not require praise to feel worthwhile. Then quiet time begins to feel different. Instead of thinking nobody needs me, you begin thinking I have time for myself today. That simple change can affect your entire emotional life. You stop treating silence as evidence that you are unwanted. You stop creating unnecessary problems just to feel involved. You stop chasing conversations simply to avoid being alone with yourself. You begin enjoying the freedom to exist without having to perform a role for somebody. There is peace in having an afternoon where nobody expects an answer from you. There is value in sitting with your own thoughts and realizing you do not need to entertain anyone. There is strength in knowing that your importance continues, even when nobody is calling your name. So when those quiet hours come, do not rush to get rid of them. Do not automatically fill them with random conversations and endless checking. Give yourself permission to experience them. Use that time to know yourself. Use it to recover your attention. Use it to think about where your life is going. Use it to become comfortable with the person who remains when everybody else's demands disappear. Because one of the healthiest things you can learn is this: you do not have to be needed every minute to have value. Sometimes nobody needs anything from you. And that is exactly when you finally have the chance to give some attention to your own life. Chapter 3. Make being alone feel better than forced company. There is a kind of loneliness that can happen even when you are sitting beside someone. You can be in a room full of people and still feel like nobody really knows you. You can laugh because everyone else is laughing, while inside you are tired of pretending to enjoy the conversation. You can spend hours with people and return home feeling worse than you did before you went out. This is something many people experience but rarely admit. They are so afraid of being alone that they keep accepting company that does not feel right. They would rather sit with people who drain them than sit peacefully by themselves. They would rather force a connection than face a quiet evening. But if you want a better life, you have to learn that company is not automatically better simply because another person is present. Think about the people you spend time with. Notice how you feel around them, instead of focusing only on how long you have known them. Can you speak naturally, or do you carefully watch every word? Can you disagree without being attacked? Can you share good news without feeling that someone secretly dislikes your progress? Can you leave your phone on the table without worrying that someone will criticize everything you do? Can you be quiet for a few minutes without feeling pressure to entertain everyone? These small details tell you a great deal about the quality of a relationship. Sometimes we keep showing up because we do not want to look unfriendly. We accept invitations we already know we will regret. We sit through conversations filled with gossip, criticism, and pointless arguments because saying no feels uncomfortable. We stay longer than we want because leaving might upset someone. Then we get home, close the door, and finally feel relief. Pay attention to that relief. Your mind may be telling you something your fear has been trying to ignore. Good company should not require you to constantly become a different version of yourself. You should not have to lower your standards to stay accepted. You should not have to hide every goal because people make fun of ambition. You should not have to pretend that bad habits are normal simply because everyone around you practices them. You should not have to laugh at things you dislike just to remain part of a group. Many people know this, but still struggle to leave unhealthy social situations because being alone feels like failure. They look at photographs online and see groups eating together, traveling together, celebrating together, and smiling together. Then they look at their own evening and think something must be wrong. What they cannot see is what happened before those photographs or what happened afterward. A picture cannot tell you whether people respect one another. It cannot show you whether someone went home feeling ignored, embarrassed, or exhausted. Never judge the quality of your life by another person's carefully selected moment. You need to become comfortable enough with your own presence that you do not accept disrespect just to have someone sitting beside you. This does not require becoming angry with people. It requires becoming selective. Being selective means noticing patterns. If someone only contacts you when they want something, notice it. If every conversation becomes a competition, notice it. If somebody repeatedly makes promises and never keeps them, notice it. If you leave every meeting feeling doubtful about yourself, notice it. One bad day does not define a person, but repeated behavior gives you information. Mature people do not ignore useful information simply because accepting it feels painful. There will be times when you have to choose between an empty chair and the wrong person sitting in it. Choose carefully. An evening alone can be changed. You can read, you can rest, you can clean your space, you can watch something you enjoy, you can think, you can study, you can sleep early and wake up feeling clear. But hours spent around people who constantly disturb your peace can affect you long after the conversation ends. Their words may stay in your mind. Their negativity may influence how you see your own possibilities. Their habits can slowly become normal to you. This is why your social environment matters. Human beings naturally adjust to the people around them. If everyone around you complains, everyday complaining starts to feel ordinary. If everyone wastes time, you begin feeling less urgency about your own time. If people constantly make excuses, excuses become easier for you too. But when you spend time alone, you get an opportunity to examine what you actually believe without immediate pressure from a group. Make that private time comfortable. Create a home environment where you enjoy being. Keep your room clean enough that entering it feels pleasant. Put your phone away for periods of time. Make something you like to drink. Sit somewhere comfortable. Read material that improves your thinking. Write your thoughts down. Listen to useful conversations or calm music. Give yourself something meaningful to do, instead of sitting there thinking about who is not with you. Learn how to have dinner alone, without treating it like a sad event. Learn how to spend Friday night at home, without assuming everyone else has a better life. Learn how to wake up on a free morning, and enjoy having no social pressure for a few hours. The more normal these experiences become, the less likely you are to run toward people simply because silence makes you nervous. And this changes your relationships in an important way. Once you know you can enjoy being alone, you become much more honest about who deserves your time. You stop staying in conversations simply because you fear losing a connection. You become willing to say, "I cannot come tonight," when you genuinely need time for yourself. You stop explaining every personal decision to people who have already decided to misunderstand you. You become less interested in collecting contacts and more interested in having a few relationships where respect is real. Quality begins to matter more than quantity. One person who listens carefully may be worth more to your life than 20 people who only wait for their turn to speak. A friend who respects your goals can be more valuable than a group that pressures you to abandon them. Someone who can celebrate your improvement without becoming uncomfortable is worth appreciating. Relationships like these should not be taken for granted. But you also have a responsibility. If you want good company, become good company. Learn to listen. Keep your promises. Respect people's boundaries. Do not make every conversation about yourself. Do not demand constant attention. Do not punish friends for having lives outside of you. Give people the same freedom you want for yourself. Healthy independence improves connection because desperation stops controlling it. When you do not fear being alone, you can tell the truth more easily. You can say no without believing the relationship will immediately disappear. You can disagree respectfully. You can walk away from repeated disrespect. You can give someone space without assuming they have stopped caring about you. This is emotional maturity in ordinary life. It is not dramatic. Sometimes it simply looks like going home instead of staying somewhere you no longer want to be. Sometimes it means declining an invitation without inventing an excuse. Sometimes it means spending Sunday by yourself because you need a quiet day. Sometimes it means admitting that a friendship you once enjoyed no longer feels healthy. Do not make loneliness your enemy. Learn from it. If you feel lonely, ask what kind of connection you actually need. Maybe you need a meaningful conversation rather than a crowded room. Maybe you need people who share your values rather than people who are merely available. Maybe you need to improve your relationship with yourself before expecting another person to remove every uncomfortable feeling. The goal is not to avoid people. The goal is to stop accepting any company simply because you are afraid of having none. When your own company becomes peaceful, you gain the ability to choose relationships with a clear mind. You spend time with people because you genuinely appreciate them. You stay because there is respect. You communicate because there is something real to share. You no longer need to force closeness just to prove that you are not alone. There is nothing impressive about having a full contact list if you feel exhausted around everyone on it. There is nothing wrong with a quiet evening when that evening gives you peace, clarity, and rest. Become comfortable enough with yourself that you can wait for relationships that are healthy instead of filling every open space with whoever happens to be available. Once you learn that being alone can feel calm, meaningful, and enjoyable, you become much harder to pressure into relationships that do not deserve you. You begin protecting your time without guilt. You begin choosing people more carefully. And when the right people do sit beside you, their presence feels valuable because you know you never needed forced company to escape yourself. Chapter 4. Enjoy your day without needing anyone beside you. A good day does not need to begin with somebody asking you to come somewhere. It does not need a message saying someone misses you. It does not need a friend sitting across from you at breakfast or a person making plans for your evening. A good day can begin with you opening your eyes and deciding that the hours ahead deserve to be used well. Many people never learn this because they connect enjoyment with company. When somebody is around, they feel active and interested. When nobody is available, they become bored and restless. They look at the clock and wonder how they are going to get through the day. But your life becomes much more satisfying when you learn how to create a day you enjoy without requiring another person to make it happen. Your first hour matters more than you may realize. If you wake up and immediately begin checking who has messaged you, then your attention belongs to other people before you have even decided what you want from the day. One message can excite you. Another can annoy you. No messages at all can make you wonder why nobody has contacted you. Before you know it, your morning mood is being controlled by a screen. Try something different. Get out of bed. Wash your face. Drink some water. Open the window or step outside for a few minutes. Give your mind time to wake up before asking the outside world to entertain you. Then decide what would make today useful and enjoyable. You do not need an impressive plan. People often make happiness unnecessarily complicated. A satisfying day can contain very ordinary things. You can prepare a breakfast you enjoy. You can clean the place where you spend most of your time. You can finish something that has been bothering you. You can read for a while. You can learn something useful. You can exercise. You can spend an hour on something you have always wanted to improve. The important thing is that you are choosing how your day will be used instead of waiting for another person to give it direction. Learn to notice what you genuinely enjoy when nobody else's opinion is involved. This can be surprisingly difficult. People spend years doing what their friends enjoy and then wonder why they feel bored when those friends are unavailable. Perhaps you have never seriously asked yourself what makes an ordinary afternoon enjoyable for you. Find out. Maybe you like cooking when you have enough time. Maybe you enjoy drawing. Perhaps you enjoy repairing things, learning about history, watching documentaries, gardening, writing, or listening to thoughtful conversations. There is no need to make your interests impressive. They only need to be real. Your ability to enjoy a day alone also depends on how you speak to yourself. If you wake up thinking nobody wants to see me, then every quiet moment will feel personal. If you think everyone else is probably having fun, then your own surroundings will seem disappointing. Be careful with conclusions that have no evidence behind them. A quiet day is simply a quiet day. It is not proof that you are unwanted. It is not evidence that everybody has forgotten you. Stop turning ordinary silence into a negative story about yourself. There is also no rule saying enjoyment has to be exciting. Sometimes a peaceful day is exactly what you need. You may spend the week rushing from one responsibility to another. Your mind hears conversations, instructions, notifications, and requests from morning until night. Then a free day arrives, and you immediately try to fill every hour because doing nothing for a while feels strange. Give yourself permission to slow down. Sit somewhere without rushing. Eat without looking at a screen. Notice the taste of your food. Take a shower without thinking about the next 10 tasks. Walk outside and feel the air on your face. These are simple experiences, but your attention determines whether you actually experience them. Do not confuse constant stimulation with happiness. If your mind needs a new video message notification or conversation every few minutes, then a normal day will quickly feel boring. Train yourself to stay with one activity longer. Read several pages without checking your phone. Finish your meal without scrolling. Complete one small task before opening another app. Give a conversation your full attention when you do speak with someone. The ability to focus makes ordinary experiences feel fuller because you are actually present for them. Another useful practice is to give your day some structure. Too much unplanned time can make you restless, especially when you are still learning to enjoy being by yourself. You do not need to schedule every minute. Simply know what you want the day to contain. Give some time to your responsibilities. Give some to your health. Give some to learning. Give some to enjoyment. Give some to rest. When the day has direction, you are less likely to spend 5 hours looking at other people's lives and wondering why yours feels empty. Do one thing each day that gives you a sense of progress. Progress changes how you feel about your time. Clean one area you have ignored. Finish an assignment. Practice something difficult. Organize your finances. Learn 10 new words in another language. Read a chapter. Exercise for a reasonable amount of time. Work on an idea you care about. At the end of the day, you want to be able to say that something is slightly better because you were here, then include something that exists simply because you enjoy it. This matters too. You are not a machine designed only to complete tasks. Watch something funny. Prepare your favorite meal. Call someone you genuinely enjoy talking with, if they are available. Spend time with a hobby. Sit outside as the evening becomes cooler. Listen to music that helps you relax. Enjoyment does not need to be earned through exhaustion. You will also discover that doing certain things by yourself can build confidence. There may be ordinary experiences you avoid, because you think people will judge you for being alone. Challenge that belief carefully. Visit a library by yourself. Browse a shop at your own pace. Sit somewhere comfortable and have a drink. Attend an appropriate public event that interests you. You may discover something surprising. Without another person beside you, there is nobody rushing you. Nobody is deciding when you leave. Nobody is complaining about what you chose. You can pay attention to your own experience. This does not mean every day should be spent alone. Human connection matters. Good conversation matters. Friendship matters. Family matters. There will be days when sharing an experience makes it much better. The point is not to remove people from your life. The point is to stop requiring their presence before you can appreciate the life you already have. When you develop this ability, your relationships can become healthier. You no longer call someone because you desperately need them to rescue your afternoon. You call because you actually want to speak with them. You do not become angry when someone is unavailable because you still know what to do with your time. You can miss someone without allowing their absence to destroy your entire day. That kind of independence gives both people room to breathe. At night, spend a few minutes noticing what went well. Maybe you completed something difficult. Maybe you enjoyed a meal. Perhaps you had a useful thought during a walk. Maybe you finally organized something you had ignored for weeks. Your day does not have to be extraordinary before it deserves appreciation. When you repeatedly notice small good experiences, your mind stops assuming that happiness only comes through major events or other people's attention. Tomorrow morning you will receive another set of hours. Nobody can promise who will call, who will visit, or who will have time for you. But you can decide what kind of person will wake up and use that day. You can become someone who knows how to take care of responsibilities and still enjoy ordinary life. You can become interested in your own growth. You can create routines that make mornings easier and evenings more satisfying. Your day belongs to you before anybody joins it. Remember that. Other people can add laughter, conversation support, and beautiful experiences, but they should not be the only reason the day feels worth living. When you learn to wake up and create meaning, enjoyment, progress, and peace through your own choices, something changes inside you. You stop seeing an empty schedule as a problem. You start seeing time that you can use well. And when evening arrives, you will not have to judge the day by how many people were beside you. You can judge it by whether you paid attention to your life, whether you took care of yourself, whether you did something worthwhile, and whether you allowed yourself to enjoy being here. That is how an ordinary day becomes a good day, even when you spend much of it on your own. Chapter 5. Find what makes you feel good by yourself. There is a question most people answer too quickly. What actually makes you feel good when you are by yourself? Not what gets attention, not what makes you look interesting to other people, not what your friends enjoy. What makes you feel calm, satisfied, interested, and glad to be living your own life? Many people reach adulthood without knowing the answer because so much of their happiness has been shaped by other people's reactions. They know what gets approval. They know what keeps a conversation going. They know what makes others impressed. But when the door closes and nobody is there, they suddenly do not know what to do with themselves. Finding what feels good by yourself requires honesty. You have to stop choosing activities based on how they appear and start noticing how they actually affect you. Something can look exciting and still leave you feeling tired afterward. Something very simple can leave you feeling clear and satisfied. Pay attention to that difference. Your feelings after an activity often tell you more than the activity itself. Start observing your natural interests. What do you search for when nobody tells you what to watch? What subjects make you curious enough to keep reading? What kind of work makes you feel satisfied when you finish it? What do you enjoy learning, even when there is no test, no reward, and nobody praising you? These small signs can teach you a great deal about yourself. You may discover that you enjoy things you have ignored for years. Perhaps you like writing down your thoughts before bed. Maybe preparing food slowly feels surprisingly relaxing. You might enjoy learning how something works or practicing a skill until you notice improvement. You may like arranging your space, reading about a subject you care about, taking photographs, studying another language, or simply sitting somewhere comfortable and thinking. Do not dismiss an activity because it seems ordinary. If it makes your private life better, it has value. There is an important psychological change that happens when you develop personal interests. Your free time stops feeling like a problem that someone else must solve. You begin having things you want to return to. Instead of asking who is available tonight, you might think about the book you want to finish or the project you have been improving. You begin looking forward to certain parts of your own routine. Be willing to experiment because you cannot discover yourself only by thinking. Try things. Give an activity enough time to know whether you actually enjoy it. Read something outside your usual interests. Learn a basic creative skill. Spend time outdoors. Try making something with your hands. Study a subject that has always made you curious. Change the way you organize your morning. Keep what genuinely improves your life, and leave what does not. You also need to understand the difference between feeling good and escaping discomfort. They can look similar for a few minutes, but they produce very different results. Spending hours endlessly scrolling may distract you, but afterward you may feel restless. Avoiding every responsibility can feel pleasant for an hour, but later the unfinished work is still waiting. Real personal enjoyment should not regularly leave you feeling worse about yourself. Some of the best private activities give you both pleasure and self-respect. You finish them feeling that your time was well used. Maybe you practiced something and became slightly better. Perhaps you rested properly and now have more energy. Maybe you cleaned your surroundings and feel more comfortable. You might have learned something useful or completed something you had delayed. Feeling good is not only about excitement. Sometimes it is the quiet satisfaction of knowing you treated your time well. Your physical environment matters too. Notice how your surroundings affect your mood. A messy room can keep reminding you of unfinished responsibilities. Constant noise can make it difficult to think. A phone beside you can interrupt your attention every few minutes. Make your personal space somewhere you can actually enjoy spending time. You do not need expensive furniture or perfect conditions. Clean what you can. Put things where you can find them. Make your bed. Allow some fresh air into the room when possible. Small changes can make private time feel more comfortable. Another useful practice is keeping a simple record of what improves your day. At night, ask yourself, what made me feel most like myself today? Maybe it was 20 minutes of reading. Maybe it was finishing difficult work. Perhaps it was talking less and thinking more. Maybe it was preparing something for tomorrow. After several weeks, you may begin noticing patterns. Those patterns help you understand what your mind responds to positively. Do not expect every interest to be shared by the people around you. This is where independence becomes important. If you always need others to approve of what you enjoy, you are still allowing them to define your private life. Someone may think your hobby is boring. Another person may not understand why you enjoy studying a certain subject. That is fine. They are not required to enjoy everything you enjoy. You are building a relationship with your own life, and that relationship needs attention. Ask yourself what makes you feel rested rather than distracted. Discover what makes you curious. Notice what gives you a healthy sense of accomplishment. Learn what kind of environment helps you think clearly. Understand what activities leave you feeling better after you finish them. As you discover these things, being alone changes. You no longer enter your room and immediately search for somebody to distract you from yourself. You begin having your own interests, your own plans, and your own reasons to enjoy the next few hours. You understand that private happiness can be created through simple choices, repeated consistently. There is great confidence in knowing how to enjoy your own time. You stop expecting another person to provide every interesting experience. You become responsible for understanding what gives your life personal meaning. And once you know what genuinely makes you feel good by yourself, solitude stops feeling like time left over after everyone else leaves. It becomes part of a healthy life where you can learn, rest, think, create, improve, and enjoy who you are becoming. Chapter 6. Take yourself out and enjoy your own plans. One of the most useful changes you can make in your life is to stop treating your own plans as less important, simply because nobody else is coming. Think about how often people cancel something they genuinely wanted to do because a friend was busy. They wanted to visit a new place, but nobody could join them. They wanted to spend an afternoon somewhere interesting, but everyone had other plans. They wanted to attend an event, but felt uncomfortable arriving alone. So they stayed home. After enough years of doing this, they begin to realize that they have missed many experiences for one simple reason. They were waiting for company before giving themselves permission to go. There is nothing wrong with wanting someone beside you. Sharing an experience with a good friend can make it more enjoyable. But wanting company is very different from requiring company. If another person's presence becomes a condition for doing everything you want, then your choices become limited by their schedule. Their free time decides your free time. Their interests decide which places you visit. Their willingness decides whether your plan happens at all. That may seem small on one weekend, but over several years it can shape your entire life. Start treating plans with yourself as real plans. If you decide that Saturday afternoon you are going somewhere, then prepare for it the same way you would if someone were meeting you. Get ready. Choose an appropriate time. Know where you are going. Make sure the activity and location are safe. Take what you need. Then leave the house. Do not spend the morning sending messages to 5 people, hoping somebody will make the plan feel more official. Your decision is already enough. The first few times may feel uncomfortable. You may arrive somewhere and immediately notice everyone who appears to have company. A family is talking nearby. 2 friends are laughing. A group is taking pictures. Your mind may become very aware that you came alone. Do not assume that discomfort means you made a mistake. Sometimes discomfort simply means you are doing something you have not practiced yet. Give yourself time to settle into the experience. Look at what you came to see. Pay attention to what interests you. Walk at your own pace. If you want to stay longer somewhere, then stay. If something does not interest you, then move on. You will begin noticing an advantage that is easy to miss. When you go somewhere by yourself, you are free to experience it according to your own preferences. Nobody is asking when you are ready to leave. Nobody is telling you they are bored. Nobody is changing the plan halfway through because they want something different. You can spend 40 minutes looking at something another person might pass in 5. You can sit down when you want. You can change direction without discussing it. You can make decisions based entirely on what feels worthwhile to you. That experience teaches you more than independence. It teaches you to trust your own decisions. Many people have become so used to group approval that even small personal choices make them nervous. They ask what everyone else thinks before buying something simple. They ask friends where they should go, what they should eat, what they should wear, and what they should enjoy. Advice can be useful, but there comes a point where you need to know what you think before collecting everybody else's opinion. Going out alone gives you opportunities to practice that. You choose, you decide, you experience the result. Sometimes you will make a great choice. Sometimes the place will disappoint you. Both outcomes are useful because both belong to real life. You learn that a disappointing afternoon is not a disaster. You adjust and make another decision. Do not turn taking yourself out into a performance either. You do not need to photograph everything so people know you went somewhere. You do not need to post every meal or location to prove you are confident. If sharing something genuinely makes you happy, that is fine, but practice having experiences that remain private too. There is a special kind of satisfaction in enjoying something without wondering how it will look to everyone else. Start with places that naturally fit your interests. If you enjoy books, spend time browsing a bookstore or library. If you enjoy nature, choose a safe public place where you can walk and relax. If you enjoy learning, visit an appropriate museum exhibition or educational event. If you enjoy food, try somewhere you have been curious about. The point is not to choose activities that look impressive. Choose something you actually want to experience. Pay attention to how you treat yourself during these plans. Some people will spend money, effort, and time making another person's experience wonderful, but give themselves the cheapest, quickest option possible when they are alone. You do not need to spend a lot of money to value yourself. The important thing is the attitude. Give yourself enough time. Wear something that makes you feel comfortable. Choose something you genuinely enjoy. Do not rush through the experience simply because nobody else is there. You may also notice that going places alone makes you more observant. When you are not constantly talking, you see details you normally miss. You notice the atmosphere around you. You hear ordinary sounds. You pay attention to people's behavior. You become more aware of your own thoughts. You discover whether you actually like a place, instead of automatically agreeing with the person beside you. This can also help you understand what kind of future you want. Maybe you discover that you enjoy peaceful places more than crowded ones. Perhaps you realize you love learning about art, history, technology, or nature. Maybe you discover that you enjoy early mornings more than late nights. Personal preferences become clearer when they are not constantly mixed with somebody else's. There will still be moments when you wish someone were there. Do not judge yourself for that. Independence does not remove the human desire for connection. You can enjoy your own plans and still miss somebody. You can have a pleasant afternoon alone and still look forward to seeing your friends later. Both feelings can exist without cancelling each other. The important change is that missing someone no longer prevents you from living. Imagine how many experiences become available once you stop asking whether someone will come. A free afternoon becomes useful. A cancelled plan becomes adjustable. A weekend with no invitations becomes open time rather than evidence that something is wrong. You gain more freedom because your life is no longer waiting for everyone's calendars to match. Make a simple promise to yourself. When there is something reasonable, safe, and worthwhile that you genuinely want to experience, do not automatically reject the idea because nobody can join you. Consider going anyway. You may return home surprised by how good you feel, not because the experience was perfect, but because you kept a plan you made with yourself. You proved through action that your interests matter even without an audience. You showed yourself that another person's absence does not require your life to stop. The more often you practice this, the more natural it becomes. Eventually, you stop thinking of yourself as someone who is going somewhere alone. You simply become a person going somewhere you wanted to go. And that small change in thinking can open a much larger life, because you finally understand that your plans deserve to happen, even when the only person who shows up for them is you. Chapter 7. Build a daily life you enjoy coming home to. A good life is not only about what happens when you are outside with people. A large part of your life happens after you come home, when the conversations stop and there is nobody around to keep you busy. That is where many people suddenly feel uncomfortable. They can spend the whole day working, studying, talking, laughing, and dealing with other people, but the moment they enter their room and close the door, their mood changes. The silence feels too strong. They reach for their phone. They search for messages. They turn something on immediately because they do not want to sit with themselves. If this happens often, the answer is not always to find more people. Sometimes the answer is to build a private daily life that you actually enjoy returning to. Look carefully at what happens when you come home. Your surroundings affect you. Your habits affect you. The first things you do affect the rest of your evening. If you enter a messy room, throw your things down, lie on the bed, and spend 2 hours looking at random content, you may eventually wonder why home feels empty. The problem may not be solitude. The problem may be that you have never created a home routine that gives you anything to look forward to. Start with your surroundings. You do not need an expensive home to feel comfortable in it. Take care of what you already have. Put your clothes where they belong. Clear the place where you sit or work. Throw away things you no longer need. Wash the cup you left from yesterday. Make your bed. Keep the basic things around you in order. When you enter a clean space after a tiring day, your mind receives a different message. You are entering a place where you can settle down instead of another problem you have to deal with. Then think about the first 30 minutes after you arrive. Most people have automatic habits during this time, and many of those habits do not help them. They drop everything and begin scrolling. One short video becomes 20. 20 minutes becomes an hour. Eventually, the evening is almost gone, and they feel more tired than before. Create a better arrival routine. Change into comfortable clothes. Wash your face. Drink some water. Put away what you brought home. Sit down for a few minutes. Give your mind a clear signal that the busy part of the day has ended. Your home should also contain activities you genuinely want to return to. If the only interesting thing waiting for you is your phone, then your phone will control your evening. Give yourself better choices. Keep a book nearby that you actually want to read. Have a small personal project you can continue. Learn something that interests you. Cook a meal you enjoy preparing. Work on a skill. Write your thoughts. Keep something unfinished in a good way, so tomorrow you have a reason to continue. There is a simple psychological truth in this. People look forward to places where something meaningful is waiting for them. Make sure something meaningful is waiting for you at home. It might be progress. Perhaps you spend 20 minutes every evening improving your English. Maybe you practice writing. You could learn basic financial skills or study something connected to the future you want. You may spend time developing an idea that belongs completely to you. These small private efforts create a feeling that your evening has purpose. It might also be comfort. There are days when you have done enough. You come home mentally tired. You do not need another difficult challenge. You need a healthy way to settle yourself. Take a warm shower. Put on comfortable clothes. Prepare a simple meal. Sit somewhere you like. Listen to something pleasant. Read a few pages. Go to bed at a reasonable time. Rest is part of a good life when it actually restores you. Learn the difference between rest and losing hours without noticing. Real rest usually leaves you feeling better afterward. Endless distraction often leaves you feeling empty and annoyed with yourself. Pay attention to the result. Your evenings can also become a time when you stop performing for the world. During the day, you may have to be polite when you are tired. You may have to answer questions when you would rather be quiet. You may have to follow schedules you did not create. At home, you finally have a chance to return to your natural pace. You do not have to impress anyone there. Wear what feels comfortable. Eat something simple if that is what you want. Sit quietly. Think about your day without explaining it to anybody. Laugh at something you find funny, even if nobody else would understand why. Enjoy having a few hours where you are not being judged, measured, or compared. That privacy can become one of the healthiest parts of your day. Use some of it to check in with yourself. Ask how the day actually went. Was something bothering you? Did you handle something well? Did somebody say something that stayed in your mind? Is there a problem you need to deal with tomorrow? Do you owe someone an apology? Is there a decision you have been avoiding? A few honest minutes can prevent small problems from following you for weeks. You can also make tomorrow easier before going to sleep. Prepare what you need. Decide what matters most the next day. Put important items where you will find them. Clean up after dinner. Charge what needs charging. Choose what you need to wear if your morning is busy. These actions are simple, but they create a sense of order. You wake up knowing that the person you were last night cared about the person waking up today. That is self-respect in daily form. Do not build a home life based only on productivity, though. You need things that make you smile for no important reason. Watch a program you genuinely enjoy. Try a new recipe. Work on something creative. Call a person you care about when you want conversation. Enjoy a snack. Sit near a window. Listen to the rain if it is raining. Notice how good clean clothes feel after a shower. Ordinary comfort deserves your attention. Many people miss these experiences because they are mentally somewhere else. They are comparing their evening with somebody else's evening. They see someone at a party and suddenly their peaceful night seems boring. They see a couple having dinner and suddenly their own meal seems sad. They see friends traveling and suddenly their room seems too small. Comparison can make a perfectly good evening feel disappointing. Return your attention to where you actually are. Your life cannot be experienced through somebody else's pictures. Look around your own space. Ask what would make this evening better. Then do something about it. Over time, home begins to feel different. You stop entering the door with the feeling that nothing is happening. You know what is waiting for you. There is food you like. There is work you care about. There is something you are learning. There is a comfortable place to rest. There are routines that help you feel organized. There is privacy when you need it. And most importantly, there is a version of you that no longer believes every good moment must happen somewhere else. Build that kind of daily life patiently. Do not wait until you have a bigger house, more money, a perfect relationship, or a different future. Work with the room, the schedule, and the resources you have today. Improve one small thing at a time. Your best life is built partly in public and partly behind a closed door when nobody is watching. If you can make those private hours peaceful, useful, comfortable, and personally meaningful, then coming home stops feeling like the end of the interesting part of your day. It becomes a part of life you genuinely enjoy because you have created a place where you can finally be yourself. Chapter 8. Choose peace instead of begging for attention. There is a painful habit many people develop without realizing what it is doing to them. They keep trying to get attention from people who have already shown very little interest. They send another message because the first one received no reply. They keep starting conversations because the other person rarely does. They change the way they speak because they want someone to notice them. They watch who viewed their post. They wonder why a certain person did not react. They check their phone again, even though they checked it 2 minutes ago. Slowly their peace begins, depending on small signs of attention from someone else. If the attention comes, they feel good for a moment. If it does not come, they question themselves. That is an exhausting way to live because you are allowing another person's response to decide how you feel about yourself. You have to learn how to recognize when you are asking for connection and when you are begging for attention. There is a difference. Healthy connection has effort from both sides. You speak, and the other person also wants to speak. You make time, and they make time. You show interest, and they show interest. It does not have to be perfectly equal every day, because people have responsibilities and difficult periods. But over time, you should not feel as though you are constantly trying to convince someone to care. Watch what people do consistently. Human beings can say many nice things in a conversation, but behavior gives you clearer information. Someone can say they value you, while repeatedly ignoring you until they need something. Someone can say they are always busy, while somehow finding time for everything they truly want to do. Someone can apologize for poor behavior, and then repeat exactly the same behavior next week. Do not become angry about every disappointment, but do become observant. There is peace in accepting information you did not want to receive. Maybe somebody does not want the same level of friendship you want. Maybe a person you care about has become distant. Perhaps you are no longer important in someone's daily life in the way you once were. That can hurt. You are human. You may feel disappointed when a relationship changes, but disappointment becomes much more painful when you keep fighting reality. You send longer messages hoping for a different response. You become extra helpful, hoping they will appreciate you. You make yourself available every time because you fear that saying no will make them disappear completely. You start doing emotional work that was never supposed to belong to one person. At some point, you need to ask yourself what all of this is costing you. How much time are you spending thinking about someone who spends very little time thinking about you? How often does your mood change because of one person's behavior? How much energy are you using to understand mixed signals that have continued for months? How many times have you ignored your own responsibilities because you were busy wondering why somebody became quiet? Your peace deserves consideration too. Choosing peace does not mean becoming rude. It does not mean blocking everyone who takes an hour to answer. It does not mean expecting people to be available whenever you want them. That would simply create another unhealthy pattern. Choosing peace means you stop forcing what repeatedly requires force. If somebody needs space, give them space. If someone is busy, allow them to be busy. If a friendship changes, accept that you cannot control another person's feelings. You can communicate honestly when something matters, but after you have communicated, you cannot demand a certain response. This is where self-control becomes important. The moment you feel ignored, you may want to react immediately. You want to send another message. You want to ask what is wrong. You want to post something hoping they notice. You may want to become cold so they ask why you changed. Before doing any of that, wait. Give yourself time to understand what you are feeling. Ask yourself a simple question. Am I doing this because it is necessary or because I want reassurance? That question can save you from many decisions you later regret. Sometimes you do not need another message. You need to tolerate the uncomfortable feeling of not knowing exactly what somebody thinks about you. Sometimes you do not need an explanation. You already have enough information from the pattern of behavior. Sometimes you do not need to prove that you are valuable. You need to stop offering your attention where it is repeatedly treated as unimportant. Respect yourself enough to stop auditioning for a place in somebody's life. You should never have to become louder, more useful, more entertaining, or more available just to receive basic respect. The right people may not always agree with you. They may become busy. They may occasionally disappoint you because nobody behaves perfectly. But healthy people do not require you to lose your dignity just to keep the relationship alive. Put some of the attention you have been chasing back into your own responsibilities. If you have spent an hour wondering why somebody has not replied, use that hour differently. Finish something important. Study. Take care of yourself. Speak with someone who treats you well. Work toward a personal goal. Do something that leaves you respecting yourself afterward. This is not a trick to make the other person miss you. That would still make your behavior about them. Do it because your life requires your attention. You have goals that need time. You have abilities that need practice. You have responsibilities that will not disappear because someone did not text you. You have a future that deserves more thought than another person's online status. And be careful with social media because it can turn attention into something you constantly measure. You post something and immediately check the reaction. 10 people respond, but you focus on the one person who did not. You receive kind comments, but your mind searches for approval from someone specific. That habit can make plenty feel like nothing. Learn to enjoy things without announcing all of them. Have a good day that nobody online knows about. Make progress without posting it. Wear something you like without needing compliments. Finish something difficult and allow your own satisfaction to be enough for that moment. When every experience requires an audience, you slowly lose the ability to know whether you enjoyed the experience itself or simply enjoyed being noticed. Your peace grows when you stop checking yourself through everybody else's eyes. You begin asking different questions. Did I behave according to my values today? Did I respect my time? Did I keep my word? Did I handle disappointment with maturity? Did I give attention to people who genuinely matter? Did I take care of something important? These questions build a stronger life because the answers depend largely on your choices. There will always be someone who does not notice you. Someone will misunderstand you. Someone will choose another friend. Someone may lose interest. Someone may fail to appreciate what you offered. You cannot spend your life correcting every person's opinion. Allow people to make their choices and make yours. Choose not to chase unclear affection. Choose not to repeatedly ask for basic consideration. Choose not to spend an entire evening analyzing a short reply. Choose not to make yourself miserable because another person is living their own life. Your attention is valuable because your life follows where you place it. Give too much of it to people who barely respond, and you will eventually neglect the person who needs your attention every day. That person is you. Give yourself enough respect to walk away from repeated indifference without creating a scene. Give yourself enough patience to sit through the first uncomfortable days when you stop chasing. Give yourself enough purpose that your mind has better things to think about than who noticed you. One day you may realize that the peace you were afraid of choosing feels far better than the attention you were exhausting yourself trying to receive. You will sleep without checking whether someone replied. You will wake up without wondering who remembered you. You will continue with your day because your emotional stability is no longer waiting inside somebody else's phone. And that is when being alone begins to feel very different. You are not alone because nobody chose you. You are choosing not to abandon your own peace just to receive a little attention from people who cannot give you the kind of connection you deserve. Chapter 9. Feel complete. Even when nobody checks on you, there will be days when your phone stays quiet longer than you expected. Nobody asks how your morning went. Nobody checks whether you arrived home safely. Nobody notices that you had a difficult afternoon. You may have done something you are proud of, and there is no message asking about it. You may be carrying a private worry while everyone around you continues with their own responsibilities. These moments can affect you deeply if you have learned to measure your importance by how often other people remember to check on you. Your mind can quickly turn silence into a painful conclusion. You start thinking that if you mattered more, somebody would have called. If people truly cared, they would have noticed. If you were important, they would have asked. But human life is more complicated than that. People can care about you and still become busy with problems you know nothing about. Someone can love you and still forget to send a message. Another person may assume you are doing fine because you usually handle things well. Their silence is not an accurate measurement of your value. You need to develop an inner sense of worth that continues when nobody is giving you immediate proof from the outside. This begins with changing the question you ask during quiet periods. Instead of asking why nobody checked on me, ask how am I doing today? That question puts you back in contact with yourself. Maybe you are tired and need proper rest. Maybe something happened that you need to think through. Perhaps you are disappointed and need to admit it instead of pretending you do not care. Maybe you are actually doing well and simply became uncomfortable because your phone was unusually quiet. Learn to identify what you genuinely need before assuming another person's attention is the answer. There is nothing weak about wanting people to care. Human beings naturally want connection. It feels good when someone remembers an important day. It feels comforting when a friend notices you have been unusually quiet. It can mean a great deal when somebody asks how you are and actually listens to the answer. Appreciate those moments when they happen. Just do not build your entire emotional stability around receiving them every day. There will be periods when support is available, and periods when you must manage more of your emotional life yourself. This is where knowing yourself becomes important. When you are upset, can you recognize it before it controls your behavior? When you feel ignored, can you avoid turning that feeling into anger toward everyone around you? When something goes well, can you feel proud before someone congratulates you? When you make progress, can you acknowledge it privately? These are practical signs of emotional independence. Suppose you worked hard on something for several weeks and finally finished it. Nobody knows how much effort it required. Nobody saw the late evenings or the moments when you wanted to quit. If nobody celebrates with you, does the achievement suddenly become less real? Of course not. You know what it required. Learn to give yourself credit without turning every achievement into a public request for approval. Sit with the satisfaction for a moment. Tell yourself, I finished what I said I would finish. That private recognition matters because it teaches you that your effort has value before anybody comments on it. The same principle applies when life is difficult. There will be times when you wish somebody would notice without being told. You want a person to look at you and understand that something is wrong. Sometimes that happens. Often it does not. People cannot always see what you are carrying internally. Instead of silently testing whether they care, consider communicating clearly when you genuinely need support. There is a major difference between depending on constant checking and honestly telling a trusted person that you are having a difficult day and would appreciate a conversation. Do not create secret tests for people. Do not disappear simply to see who comes looking. Do not stay silent about what you need and then become angry because nobody guessed correctly. That behavior usually creates more disappointment. Mature connection requires communication. If you need reasonable support, say so. If you want to speak with someone, reach out because you value the relationship, rather than because you are testing your importance. At the same time, learn how to care for yourself during ordinary emotional discomfort. Maybe your day was disappointing. Instead of sitting with your phone, waiting for someone to ask about it, take a few minutes and process what happened. Name the problem clearly. Decide whether anything can be done tonight. If yes, handle what you reasonably can. If not, give yourself permission to stop thinking about it until tomorrow. Eat properly. Take care of basic responsibilities. Get enough sleep. A difficult day does not become easier because you spend the entire night checking whether somebody noticed. Your sense of completeness also grows when your identity contains more than relationships. Know what you are working toward. Have principles you try to live by. Develop abilities that matter to you. Take responsibility for your education, your character, and the way you use your time. When your life has direction, a quiet phone feels less threatening because you have something meaningful to return your attention to. Ask yourself who you are when nobody is reacting to you. Are you still disciplined when nobody reminds you? Are you still kind when there is no praise? Do you still keep promises you made privately? Can you work towards something when nobody asks about your progress? Can you make a responsible decision without immediately telling everyone? Those private choices reveal a great deal about your character. You also need to stop assuming that everybody else's life is filled with constant care and attention. People often show the moments when someone remembered them, but rarely show the ordinary evenings when nobody called. They show birthday messages, celebrations, and group conversations. You do not see every quiet hour in between. Comparing your private reality with selected moments from another person's life will give you a distorted picture. Some days will simply be quiet. Nothing is wrong with that. Use those days to become more familiar with yourself. Notice what you think about when nobody interrupts you. Notice which worries repeatedly appear. Pay attention to what you keep postponing. Ask whether your current life reflects the person you want to become. Silence can reveal things that constant interaction keeps hidden. And remember that feeling complete does not mean pretending you never need anyone. That would not be strength. Healthy people can enjoy independence and still ask for help. They can spend time alone and still value close relationships. They can manage an ordinary bad mood themselves while recognizing when a problem deserves support from a trusted adult friend, family member, or appropriate professional. Completeness means another person's attention adds to your life, without becoming the only thing holding your sense of worth together. Imagine reaching a point where you can have a quiet day without taking it personally. You finish what needs to be done. You take care of yourself. You enjoy what is available. If somebody calls, you are happy to hear from them. If nobody does, you do not begin questioning whether your existence matters. That kind of confidence is built slowly. It develops each time you refuse to turn silence into rejection. It grows when you recognize your own progress. It becomes stronger when you communicate honestly instead of testing people. It deepens when you build a life with responsibility, interest, values, and goals that remain meaningful without constant attention. People will check on you sometimes, and you should appreciate those who sincerely care. But there will also be days when everyone is occupied with their own lives. Do not make those days evidence against yourself. You still have value when nobody asks what you are doing. Your progress still counts when nobody applauds it. Your feelings still deserve your attention when nobody notices them first. Become the person who can look after your own life without waiting to be remembered. Then, when love, friendship, and attention arrive, you can receive them with gratitude rather than desperation. You are no longer asking another person to make you feel complete. You already know that your life has meaning, and their care becomes something beautiful you can appreciate, rather than something you cannot live without. Chapter 10. Start living fully without waiting for company. One day you begin to understand that waiting has taken more from your life than being alone ever did. You remember the places you wanted to visit, but never visited. You remember the things you wanted to learn, but kept delaying. You remember weekends when you had enough time to do something meaningful, but stayed home because nobody was available. You remember ideas that excited you until someone else showed no interest. None of these moments seemed important by themselves. But years are made from ordinary days, and when enough ordinary days are spent waiting, you eventually discover how much life has passed without your full participation. There comes a time when you have to make a different decision. If something matters to you, then your life should not remain paused until somebody decides to join you. Living fully begins when you stop treating company as permission. You do not need another person to confirm that something is worth experiencing. You can decide that for yourself. If you want to improve your education, begin studying. If you want to become healthier, build reasonable habits that support your health. If you have an idea you care about, start developing it. If there is a safe place you have wanted to see, make a realistic plan. If there is something useful you have been afraid to try, take the first responsible step. Your progress should not depend on whether somebody else feels equally excited about your future. Many people delay their lives because they imagine everything will become easier when the right people arrive. They think they will become confident when they have more friends. They will become disciplined when somebody motivates them. They will finally start enjoying themselves when they meet someone who understands them perfectly. This expectation can quietly keep a person inactive for years. People can support you, but they cannot live your days for you. They can encourage you, but they cannot make your decisions. They can walk beside you for part of your life, but they cannot take responsibility for what you do with your time. You need to become willing to begin before anyone agrees with you. There is a simple way to practice this. Think about one thing you have been delaying only because you do not want to do it by yourself. Do not choose something dangerous or unrealistic. Choose an ordinary experience that matters to you. Maybe you want to join a class. Perhaps you want to attend a public event. Maybe you have wanted to begin a personal project. Perhaps you want to learn a useful skill, but nobody around you is interested. Ask yourself why another person's lack of interest should become your reason for doing nothing. It should not. The people around you are allowed to want different things. Your friend may not care about the subject you want to study. Your family may not understand why a certain goal matters so much to you. Someone may think your interest is boring. That does not automatically make them wrong, and it does not make you wrong. Different people have different priorities. Maturity means being able to respect those differences without abandoning your own direction. This becomes especially important when you begin changing your life. Improvement can sometimes feel lonely because your decisions may no longer match what everyone around you is doing. You decide to use your evening differently. Someone asks why you are taking things so seriously. You begin studying while others want entertainment. You save money while others spend theirs immediately. You protect your sleep while people invite you to stay up unnecessarily late. You start working consistently on something that produces no immediate result. Do not expect everyone to understand choices that were made for your future. You do not need to argue about them either. Quietly follow through. There is no need to announce every new habit or convince everyone that your plan is correct. Put your attention into doing the work. Your life improves through action rather than explanation. And do not wait until you feel completely confident. Confidence often grows after you begin doing something independently. The first attempt may feel awkward. You may question yourself. You may look around and wonder whether you belong there. Continue behaving calmly and responsibly. Each experience gives you evidence that you can handle more than you assumed. Suppose you attend something alone for the first time. At the beginning, you may feel very aware of yourself. Then 10 minutes pass. You start paying attention to why you came. 30 minutes later, you are interested in what is happening. By the time you leave, you may realize that most of the fear existed before the experience rather than during it. This lesson reaches far beyond going places alone. You may have spent years asking other people what they think before trusting a decision. Now you begin thinking first. You gather useful information. You consider the consequences. You make the best responsible choice you can. You learn from the result. This process strengthens your ability to direct your own life. There will still be times when you want company. That desire does not need to disappear. Some experiences are genuinely more enjoyable when shared. A good conversation can make an ordinary evening memorable. A trusted friend can make difficult periods easier. Family can provide a sense of connection that private achievement cannot replace. Living fully on your own does not mean deciding that people are unnecessary. It means you stop becoming inactive whenever they are unavailable. You begin to understand that connection and independence can exist together. You can care deeply about someone without needing them beside you every hour. You can enjoy friendship without organizing your entire identity around a group. You can appreciate invitations without depending on them for something to look forward to. You can enjoy being included without believing exclusion makes you less valuable. This creates a healthier way of living, because you no longer approach relationships with the pressure that another person must complete your entire life. You already have responsibilities. You have interests. You have things you are learning. You have standards. You have plans for your future. When another person enters your life, they meet someone who is already participating in their own existence. That changes the quality of connection. You are not sitting there asking someone to give you a reason to wake up excited. You have reasons. You are not asking them to create all your confidence. You have been developing it through your choices. You are not demanding constant reassurance, because you have learned how to think clearly during periods of silence. You can simply enjoy them. And if circumstances change, you still know how to continue. That matters because life changes. People move. Friends become busy. Relationships sometimes end. Work schedules change. People develop different interests. You cannot guarantee that the people available today will always have the same amount of time tomorrow. If every enjoyable part of your life depends on one person or one group, then every change becomes emotionally overwhelming. Build something that remains yours. Build knowledge nobody can take from you. Develop practical abilities. Create personal routines. Strengthen your character. Become interested in the world. Take responsibility for your future. Learn how to make ordinary days worthwhile. Give yourself goals that require effort, whether anyone notices or not. Then start collecting experiences rather than excuses. Read the book you keep saving for later. Begin the project you keep discussing. Apply for the opportunity if you are ready and eligible. Learn something that has always interested you. Visit safe places that make you curious. Participate in your community. Try appropriate activities that challenge your confidence. Speak to new people naturally when situations allow it. Give your life more chances to surprise you. Do not spend the next few years waiting for the perfect social situation before you begin becoming the person you want to be. There is another important truth to understand. You may never receive permission from everyone. Some people will question your choices. Some will think differently. Others will barely notice what you are doing. If you need universal approval before acting, you will remain stuck because universal approval does not exist. Learn to live according to sound values rather than constant reactions. At the end of your day, ask yourself whether you actually participated in it. Did you learn something? Did you handle your responsibilities? Did you make a decision you had been avoiding? Did you do something healthy for yourself? Did you notice something good instead of rushing past it? Did you move one step toward the person you want to become? These are better measures of a day than how many people were available. Your best life is not a life without relationships. It is a life where relationships are appreciated, without becoming the condition for everything else. It is a life where you can enjoy a crowded table and still be comfortable when the chair beside you is empty. It is a life where plans can change without your entire sense of happiness disappearing. So stop delaying the parts of your life that can responsibly begin today. Stop assuming somebody must arrive before you become serious about your future. Stop giving another person's schedule control over experiences that belong to you. Wake up with something worth doing. Give your attention to what matters. Keep developing yourself. Stay open to good people. Appreciate genuine relationships when they appear. Share your life generously with those who treat you well. But keep living when nobody comes along. Because when you finally learn to enjoy your own presence, you stop seeing alone time as something that needs to be fixed. You realize that your life has been asking for your participation all along, and the moment you stop waiting for company is the moment you become available for the life you have been postponing.